I'm Chef Alex, and welcome to our home. This year, we have something special for you. We're going to have whole meals to prepare on video. We'll have single recipes. We'll have specialty recipes. Feel free to comment and ask for your favorite recipe, and I'll be happy to make it for you. God bless you all, and have a wonderful year. Hi, and welcome back. All right, so today we are starting our under $10 series. So first thing we're going to show you is bread. Okay, because bread, if you buy it at the store, it is a lot of money. But if you make it, it's pennies on the dollar. Okay, so first thing I'm going to show you is a basic loaf of bread. Now, let's come over here. Now this recipe will make 2 loaves. Okay, this calls for 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Now let's talk about flour. There's rice flour, there's all-purpose flour, there's unbleached all-purpose flour, there's bleached all-purpose flour, there's high-gluten flour. There's a lot of different kinds of flour. So all-purpose unbleached flour, as a general rule of thumb, will get you just about anything you need. Okay? Now, how do you buy it? I personally buy it by the 25-pound bag because we make a lot of bread here practically every other day. And to make a loaf, these 2 loaves of bread, these 3 cups of flour, this is going to cost maybe $1.50. Okay? So it's worth learning. So let's give it a start, and let me show you the different nuances of bread. Okay? So first we're going to go with the basic recipe, which is 3 cups. Put it in my food processor. Now, why do I put it in the food processor and not knead it by hand? Because it needs it for me. And if I had one of those KitchenAids, it would take 20 minutes. And here it takes 45 seconds. So we take 3 cups of flour, okay? And if you're interested, this is a live bake bucket. I got it on Amazon. It advertises that it holds 25 pounds. It holds 25 pounds of flour. No issue. So, am I going to need bench flour to throw and to toss and to make a no, I'm not going to need any more bench flour. Just, you'll see. So, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a little pinch of salt. Okay, that's the salt. We're going to add, for each cup, you're going to add about a teaspoon of oil. So, let's talk about the spoons again. These are the tablespoons, the spoons that sit on the table. Okay? The big one and the little one. It's the table and the tea. Alright? So we're going to go with the tea. 3 tablespoons of oil. And then we'll talk about the teaspoons. So 1, 2, 3. Alright? Now we're going to the teaspoon, and that is 1 teaspoon of active dry yeast. Okay? See? Sprinkle that bad boy in there. That's it. Okay, so where do the nuances come? They come in right here. Okay. So if I add 70% of this water, this bread will come out semi-dry, okay? And it'll be crumbly. it won't be pull aparty like you want it to, okay? So you have to add the right amount of water. So let's get started. So in this case, I'm going to add about 2.5 of these. 2.5 of these little containers that are on top of my food processor. That's about the amount of water that I need for this particular recipe. Okay. So that's 2. And I'm going to start pulsing it. Oop, I got to plug it in. We need power. Really hard work. So you see how the bread is coming out here, how the dough is? Oh, it's nice and wet, sticky. That's just about done right there. Clean table, very clean table. So, clean and sanitized. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take all this dough out, right? And we're going to put it on the table. So this dough, if I were to add less water, 1/4 cup less water, it'll work. It'll just be a drier loaf of bread. If I add more water, it'll still work. I would have to cook it at a higher temperature. And not only would I have to cook it at a higher temperature, but I'd have to hit it with some steam. So, alright, so here, now notice how it's a nice, wet, sticky dough. That's exactly what I want. If you want a nice, wet bread inside, okay, you want a nice, wet dough. If you want a crumbly bread on the inside, you're gonna add less water, alright? So you add 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup less water, you're gonna get a really dry loaf of bread. If that's what you're into, okay, that's cool. You know, I'm not into Melba toast, but I like this because you see how it is here. That's how it's gonna come out later. Okay, it's gonna be crusty on the outside, and then it's gonna be that stuff that you pull apart on the inside. All right. So now what we're gonna do, essentially, I'm gonna spray it down so it doesn't get the skin, and I'm gonna let it sit there for 1 hour and 45 minutes. All right, and we'll come back in 1 hour and 45 minutes, shape the dough, and then we'll talk about the next step. All right. All right, we're back, and it's been 1 hour and 30 minutes, and as you can see, look how big it got. So essentially, at this stage right here, okay, you can cut it into the pieces that you want for individual servings. You can put it on here, and you can freeze it. And when it comes out, you sit it at room temperature for 2 hours, and you pop it in the oven. Okay? It's that simple. All right? I mean, that's what I do here all the time. So today we're going to make some fresh bread. So remember, these 3 cups are going to make 2 nice big loaves. Okay? Look how big the loaves are going to be. So essentially, we're cutting them. We're going to stretch it. Not really too worried about the dough itself. because it's going to reproof here. Okay, so essentially I don't want to kill it, but I'm going to roll it into itself. Okay, like this, as you can see. All right, normally I do it this way. It's easier for me, but so you can see I'm doing it that direction. Okay, and then essentially you're going to roll it like you would a cinnamon roll. Now, when you see sides that are thinner and thicker, what you're going to do is you're going to compress it. Okay? And you can fix that, no issue. Okay? Now you're going to lightly spray your pan. Okay? As you can see, it's more or less the same. Now here we're going to do the same thing. We can help it along because it was a little sticky. See right there. Now what I want evenness. Okay, see? More or less. Alright. Rolling it into itself. Doesn't have to be perfect, guys. The secret here isn't perfection, the secret here is time. If you have the right amount of hydration and you let this sit for the right amount of time, you'll get perfect bread every single time. You can see, we're going to set this over here now. We're going to take our pan spray. All right. Now, don't worry about the way they look too much. They're going to look really good when they're done. And you're going to spray them down. Okay. Now, there are several methods of doing this. You can do this with flour. You can douse this in flour. I personally think it's a waste of flour. I'm wasting this too, so choose your poison. So, if you're going to use flour, I recommend that you cover it completely and then let it shake off. Okay. I like to do this. I like to watch it as it rises. So, at this stage, like I said, you can cut it, shape it, freeze it. Right now, if I wanted to freeze this, okay, I could freeze it. It's the perfect stage for freezing. You bring it out 2 hours, pop it in the oven, no issue, okay? So for this, right now, we're going to let it rise a second time. The second time, we're going to let it rise 1 hour and 45 minutes. We'll be back in an hour and 45 minutes. All right, we're back. So it's been an hour and 45 minutes, and take a look at the bread. As you can see, it's gotten bigger and it's flattened out a little bit. Now let me tell you what's going on. It flattens because it has a high amount of water. If I had a little less water in here, I'd be able to shape it more like a football. Okay? But I like a wet dough because a wet dough will give me a nice soft bread on the inside. Alright? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slice it right here. Take my little slicer. These are $5. I recommend these. If you run a knife through here, you're going to destroy the dough. Okay? Look how it's yanking the dough, and it's a razor blade. If this was a knife, the knife, you know, is like that thick compared to this. So you yank it across, it's going to destroy the dough. So we're going to come across here. Well, what is this going to do? It's going to allow it to open up a little bit in the oven and allow it to grow a little bit. Now, what's going to happen? It's going to pop a little bit up, but you'll see it's mainly going to get air in it, and it's going to look beautiful. The smell for bread is amazing. Now, you're going to have a preheated oven for 500 degrees, okay? Here's the secret. 500 degrees, not 400, 500, okay? This goes in. See these two loaves right here? Now I'm going to give you I'm going to pause here for a second so you can guess how long you think this is going to take. So, I'm going to put this in the oven for 12 minutes, all right? And we'll be back in 12 minutes. All right, we're back, and it's been 12 minutes. So here's what we did. All right, since we have 2 loaves, I'm going to show you 2 different ways. So this loaf has come out after 12 minutes. Okay. Now the second loaf will be in there 10 more minutes. Okay. So you're going to see the difference between what happens to the crust, what happens to the inside. You'll get a good idea without you having to do the trial and error. Okay? So this is our 12-minute loaf. We'll come back in 10 minutes and I'll show them both to you. All right, so we're back and it's been 12 minutes. So this is our first one. All right? Now it's been 10 more minutes after that. And remember, we had 2 of them. You're going to see the difference in textures and now they're hot. This thing is hot. So best thing you can do is be careful. Grab a knife. All right, so let me show you the differences. So this is our first one. This is our 12-minute loaf right here. Okay. This is what it looks like on the inside. See? All right. Now this is our 22-minute loaf. Start over here on the fat side. Ooh, that baby's hot. You hear the crunch, right? Now you see the inside. Now you can see the difference in the inside. In this particular one, you're going to get a much wetter dough. Much moister. Okay, it is just done. This one is crunchy on the outside, okay, and it is also just done. So it depends what you're looking for. All right, my general rule, okay, I like this one, and I'll tell you why. This is great for coffee. This is great for sandwiches. This is great for, wetting sauce on the side of a bread. This is a little bit more like a baguette. If you're into the crunchy bread, by all means, leave it in there an extra 10 minutes. Okay. This is the difference right here. As you can see, there is not much of a difference on the inside. The only difference really is here. See? You don't hear this one, but this one you hear. Okay? Scared my dog. So, the same loaf of bread from the same dough. Now, if you were to take this, the dough, instead of putting it in the oven, you could fry it. Make beignets. Okay? Poke a hole in the center. You could fry it again. Make donuts. If you flatten them out, you make elephant ears. Okay? It's the same dough. Essentially, after that, it's what you do to the dough that's making the difference. Okay? So, remember, learn to cook, and you'll eat better for the rest of your life.